Very good morning, investors. Hello and warm welcome. I'm Vineet Sharma, practicing as an independent financial advisor. My purpose for today's interaction is to make you understand the importance of financial literacy. Hope you'll find the session useful. Planning to invest in mutual funds for the first time, we help debunk 5 myths related to the mutual fund investments. Myth number one: you invest through mutual funds and not into mutual funds. Now, mutual funds are actually the facilitators. Now, people who are not aware about the equity and debt markets and find some difficulties in investment may go to the mutual funds and ask for the help. Now, mutual funds would allow you to invest directly into the markets, enables you to have diversifications and multiply your wealth through smart investing. Myth number two: it is better to invest in funds with a lower NAV. Now, first time mutual funds investor are often gets confused about the concept of net asset value, which is called NAV of a mutual fund scheme. Now, most of them wonder whether they should buy a fund with a higher NAV or a lower NAV. The NAV of a mutual fund actually is a market price or the value of its assets minus its liabilities. Now, we believe a higher NAV or a lower NAV is actually irrelevant to the investors. Now, for example, suppose you're investing in two schemes with same portfolio. Now, one scheme has been around for a while and so it has a higher NAV. The other scheme, or relatively the younger one, has a lower NAV. Now, this means the investor would get more number of units in the scheme with a lower NAV and less number of units in the scheme with a higher NAV. However, both would get same returns as an appreciation or the depreciation of the investments of the scheme would be same as they have an identical portfolio. Myth number three: past returns are reflection of future returns. Now, we often read in mutual funds articles related one should not select a mutual fund scheme based on their past performance because historical performance is not an indicator of the future performance. Now, by performance, most people imply returns. Now, in my view, mutual funds performance has a number of aspects, of which returns is the only one. But for now, let us stick to the returns. Mutual funds are subject to market risks. Therefore, the mutual funds will always have a factor of market conditions. The market conditions prevailing in the last 1 or 2 years may or may not prevail in the next 1 or 2 years. Therefore, the short-term returns can be very misleading and not the indicator of the future performance. Myth number four: some funds are good, some funds are bad. Now, in India, almost like 40 mutual fund companies working. Each company has more than 100 schemes in their portfolio. Each scheme has a different strategies, different allocations of debt and equity, and different risk levels. Now, finding a good scheme is a myth, but rather find a right scheme should be your preference. Each and every scheme has meant for someone. You have to just pick it up the right one. Myth number five, and the final one: when is the time exactly a mutual fund starts paying you the returns? Now, people tend to invest with a longer time horizon but ends up judging a fund with a shorter span. Now, this makes investments so confusing. Compounding is the key. Compounding works everywhere and in many frequencies. For example, a fixed deposit usually compounds quarterly. Mutual funds usually compounds daily. Now, the more number of compounding frequencies, more would be the returns as the money would get reinvested at a faster pace. Now, mutual funds having a daily compounding helps you to build a corpus in a long horizon. Now, the same corpus fixed deposits might take in twice of those years. Mutual funds are meant for long term and should be held with a minimum time span of 7 to 8 years.